So, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Homeroom Blending Podcast. Today, I'm with my co-host Ken Fontanes
Hi, everyone.
and our special guest Rudy.
Hello,
Hi.
thank you for having me.
So, Rudy, why don't you tell us? Why don't we start off by you telling us a little bit about yourself, what you do,
Right.
where you're from,
Right.
everything.
Awesome. All right, first of all, thank you for having me. My name is Rudy Rodriguez. I've been with Signature Premier Properties for about a year and a half now. I've been in the real estate industry about 3 years. And basically, I help with my Spanish community. I'm very involved. As you guys know, I run a podcast in Spanish, which is awesome, Pan con Café. Right now, I'm in my third year, and to be honest, probably is going to be my best year yet, which
Excellent.
is always the goal.
Good. Yeah.
And hopefully within the middle of the year, I'm going to be building my own team as well. So that's the next step.
Oh, good for you.
Oh, cool!
Congratulations.
So, wow. So you're moving on up. What?
Exciting.
So what's the goal? Like how you who's the ideal candidate that we be interested in working with you? Who are you looking for? Essentially?
Right. So basically, I'm looking for people who want to work, and they have to be good people because you can train good people to do a good job.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things that I'm actually looking for. And definitely, if somebody speaks Spanish and English and can help people, that I get a lot of Spanish speaking clients.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of my main focus right now.
Like what areas are you covering now? What's your niche?
So to be honest, I started like in Suffolk, right? And like I was like, I'm not gonna go to anywhere else. I like Suffolk, and right now I just have 2 closings coming up in Nassau, and and I'm like, I'm driving to Nassau, like I'm exploring the area. I'm like, oh, Nassau is nice too. So to be honest, I'm all over the place. I just put something under contract in Shirley.
Oh wow!
And then closing in Roosevelt, so I'm all over the
You're
island.
all over the island.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Where the
Yeah.
business is basically.
Exactly,
So
whatever the business takes us.
So you work mainly with the Hispanic community, or what's a?
Yeah, I mean, I do try to help out as much as I can, but definitely I'm open to work with whoever.
Right.
For example, right now I'm working with somebody who's looking at Dix Hills, and it's like it doesn't really matter where.
Got it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Exactly. No.
Everybody and
right.
anybody that you can help.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And I
good.
think one of the beauty of this business, right, is that you get to meet so many different people. And
So true.
Yeah, and as long as you can
Great.
connect, talk to them, then you're all set.
Then I mean, if you have, that's the thing. You have that skill set, like you're saying, like
Right.
you have to be a good person. There's certain qualities that I feel like you kind of want to have to have that person have, like that you're
Right.
working with, because it relates back to you and it
Exactly.
segues into the client.
Right.
So the last thing you want to do is have someone that that you're working with, and all of a sudden they have a completely different way of seeing things in a mindset and treat the clients completely different. So it's
Right.
like opposites going from
Right.
you to them, or vice versa.
Right,
So
yeah.
I totally get that. I mean,
Yeah, no.
it's important.
Right, and especially when, for example, if you're gonna build a team, they're gonna be representing what your team. So it's tough when
Yeah.
you're selecting people.
Yeah, I mean, because I feel like a lot of people get into the business. I'm sure you see it all the time, Kim, where it's really more about transaction, making
Right.
money overnight,
Right.
and you get a lot of people that come into the business that
For the wrong reason.
for the wrong
Exactly,
reasons.
yeah.
Listen, everybody's, wants to make money,
True.
right? I mean, that's
Right.
just the way of the world, but, the right way.
Exactly.
That you can put your head on the pillow at night and, know that you did the right thing for the day.
Exactly.
Yeah, because
Which
this
is the most
business,
important.
it really lends itself to doing a lot of terrible things. I mean, I've mentioned it a
yeah.
few times on the podcast where the clients, they don't know that a lot of times they think they have to pay you a fee
Right.
just to consult.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And that is
right.
And I guess it's just like I get it. It's really, I feel like it's more rampant in the Hispanic community.
True. Mm-hmm.
Like it's almost like it's just the way we grow up that we have to, if we get something, we it just can't be free. Like we have to give something to
Right.
get something.
Right.
And it's eerie because the things that you hear, and it's not like a couple $100. I mean,
No.
you're talking about thousands of dollars for a
Yeah.
consultation.
I mean,
Yep.
And you can't make it in this business that way.
No.
For too long.
No.
Exactly.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then there is people like you guys, and like we just got to get the message across.
Exactly.
Like listen, like you put the information out there. It's free. Like you can get a
Right.
buyer's agent, and most people like in the Spanish community don't understand. Like if I'm a buyer's agent and I help you find a house, I'm not getting paid from you. I'm getting paid from the seller.
From the seller, exactly.
And that's something like they don't really understand. And sometimes I have to do a buyer's consultation, and I explain to the buyers, like, listen, I'm gonna help you find a house. You don't have to pay me. The seller pays me. And then they're like mind blown.
Right, they're about to go in there by themselves,
Right.
and naked basically,
Right.
and
and
get
a lot
taken
of
advantage.
people don't understand that you should have an agent.
Absolutely.
You should absolutely have an agent representing you.
Exactly.
And people don't know that.
They don't think, you don't pay the agent.
No.
Right, you don't pay the agent, so you definitely need somebody,
Absolutely.
looking out for you.
And then the other thing is, like, people think that, and I'm not saying anything bad about the listing agent, right? But if you go straight to the listing agent, they're already working for the seller.
Exactly.
So why would you go to somebody who's working for the seller already?
Like, put yourself in a position like that.
Right. Yeah. You put in, and like, to be honest, like, there's great listing agents out there, and hopefully they all will do the right thing. But you never know. You're taking a chance.
Exactly, yeah. And,
Right.
and why
I
take a
agree.
chance on the biggest purchase of your life?
Exactly,
Your, your dream, basically. This is what you're trying to get to. And people rioted. They put it on the wrong place, like their faith and their belief, in the sense that they think that they're gonna get a better deal, they're gonna save some money, or whatever the case is. Meanwhile, it's the opposite. You end up actually. First, you don't pay for the real estate agent,
right?
And the real estate agent will look for a way to have for you not to be outbid or whatever the case is. So you lose in double. One, you're not paying for it, and two, the point is for them to save you money.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's like a double loss.
Yeah.
Listen, it's not always a situation like you said.
Right.
Not every listing agent will do that. There's times where. You can go directly to the seller,
absolutely,
and work something out.
Right.
But more often than not, it doesn't behoove you. It's not in your best interest to do that.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just not.
And it's good for people like you that will explain to you,
Exactly,
your client exactly, what's
Right.
going on, because people don't know.
Right.
You went to school for it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's hard enough to learn yourself.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
And then we're in the business every day, and that's
Yes.
another thing that I try to explain to the client. Like, listen, I'm in the business every day. I've seen it happening multiple times this way or this way. If this pops up, like, don't be afraid. Like, for example, we have like a crazy market, right? So sometimes when I go under contract, I'm like, listen, we might get a short appraisal. This is what's gonna happen. All right. You can either renegotiate, you can fight the appraisal, you can, probably gonna have to come up a little bit with some cash.
Right.
But I'm gonna give you those heads up. But like, let's say you go to somebody who doesn't really care about you, they're just gonna be like, "Whoops, appraisal coming short. This is what you gotta do."
Exactly.
And
You're
then
upfront
exactly
in the very beginning.
Yeah,
Which
and
is so important.
You have to. You have to.
You really do.
You really have to.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to just go that extra step,
Right.
so the people understand.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times you explain things to your client, and then you explain it again,
Right.
and then again,
Right.
and then you have to make sure they understand.
Absolutely.
You know,
it's like telephone game, but it's happening right in front of you with one person.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and it's nice, working with a real estate agent that is knowledgeable and that knows what they're doing, because we've had our share of many that have no idea, and it's,
We're supposed to be part of the same team, and
Exactly.
I feel like a lot of times we'll get these calls of agents that they don't want to do any work whatsoever.
Right, yeah.
Like, it's like, hey, can you help us try to expedite XYZ?
right.
It's like, that's not my job.
Right.
It's like,
Right.
well, we know it's not your job.
Exactly.
It's just, but it's part of like the contribution that you make to the team, so we could all collaborate to close on time.
Right.
Exactly. And the funny thing is, like, people also don't realize, like, you guys and us, like, we're a team, but there are so many other parties involved. Like, you got to go to your underwriter, right? Then for example, we got to wait for a clear title to close. And then if that agent doesn't understand that, they're looking at you and like, what are you waiting for? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
the expectations
It's like
aren't there.
it's foreign to them.
Right,
Yeah.
it is.
Right?
It is.
It's like it's foreign. It's like,
Right.
really?
Yeah.
It's
And
wild.
then even like, okay, now we're going to go into a seller's concession.
Right.
Right? And try to explain a seller's concession to a realtor that
Or-
has no idea.
or an
Like
attorney,
yeah,
or anybody
Oh
else.
my God.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's wild.
it
is.
really is wild.
is,
It
yeah.
I don't know how they pass the test. I really don't.
Oh,
That
my
was,
God.
I think that was the last. I guess that's just that we take it maybe for a little bit for granted that
Right.
we're in it every day.
Right.
But I
Right.
do see, Rudy, I see like attorneys sometimes, and where they just don't understand what the sellers can say, how it works.
Right. Yeah.
They just don't get it.
Exactly.
We've had Kim like explain it like backwards,
Yes.
regular way,
Right.
sideways, description, stick figures.
Right.
And eventually, like, then she just has to say, "This is the way it is," and that's it.
Right.
And then so we can get it done. But
Right.
yeah, it's not easy.
It's not easy.
Right.
Yeah, I think,
It's not.
and this is why, like you said before, like this is what we like to have. We do the podcast. We like to get the information out there
Right.
to let people know. There's good agents out there.
Right.
Like there's a lot of agents that I'm sure they're good and they're not in the limelight.
Right.
But if you're doing the right thing and you're doing a good job, I think you should
Right.
promote that.
Absolutely.
Exactly, yeah.
You got to promote that. You got to get your name out there
Right.
because
That's
we need
right.
more people like you out there that see the business that way with the same
Right.
mindset.
Yes.
Because listen, we're all trying to make a living.
Exactly.
Right,
Yeah.
we're trying to make a career, trying
Right.
to make a life for ourselves and so forth. The last thing you need are people that are resistant
Right.
to the process that we're trying to work on
Right.
to get someone a house.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's very disruptive. Very disruptive. I'm sure, like,
Right.
I'm sure you've had experiences
Yeah.
with loan officers that don't even want to answer your phone call. They hang up
my
on you, or
God.
whatever the case
Right.
is. They just don't want to be part of
Right.
the process in
It's
that same sense, and
horrifying.
not have you included.
Right.
Same way with us with real estate agents.
Yeah.
We have also our challenges where we get random people that just don't want to collaborate. It's
Right.
very strange.
Right.
Uh,
And I say all the time, like, both of us, we're like, we're on the same team.
Right.
Right?
You have to
Right.
remind them.
Right, we do. We have to remind them. Like, let's get this closed.
Right.
Let's work together and any issues,
Right.
Yeah.
they just, you can't get in touch with them.
Right, and something that you mentioned is communication, right? Like,
Right.
for
Yes.
example, for me as an agent, right, and I'm working with a lender, when I submit an offer and that lender is backing up that offer with an email, phone call right after, it's a game changer. You know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely.
once the listing agent knows that we're a
Right.
team, it's not just
Everybody's
my client's offer. It's me, it's the
ours.
lender, and then
Yes.
it's a teamwork effort,
know,
and that's big.
You create
It is big.
you create peace and harmony.
Right,
And
it.
that's the key in life, like
Right.
you want to be in peace and in harmony.
Yes.
That's really what the goal is. And when you have everybody working together the
Together.
right way,
The transaction just goes nice and smooth.
Oh, good.
Absolutely, yeah.
And there's nothing like a smooth
Right.
transaction
To
to a
the
close,
end, yeah.
right?
yeah, it's like for example, like somebody comes to you, right? I mean, it makes more sense that you look to solve the issue than try
Right.
to complain about the issue.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Don't get me going. Ooh, you
I'm
got
sure
me
you
there.
I'm sure you get that a lot.
Right,
Like, what
yeah.
happened? And then you
Right.
gotta explain everything.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
but it's really let's just get the job done. We're at
Right.
this point. That's
Right.
already done.
Exactly.
Let's move forward from let's focus
Right.
on that. And
Right.
then later on, if you want to talk about what happened in the past, we'll
Right.
have a
Yeah.
few
Everybody's
drinks or
people are always
a
pointing
smoke,
their
whatever
finger.
people have.
You
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
Like, oh, you did this. Let's fix it.
Yeah.
Right. That's
it.
And it's
Guilty, but let's move forward.
Right. like, come on.
realize there's a problem, but let's not talk about it. Let's find the solution about it. Like, please, like
Yes.
we seeing the same thing. But let's push forward,
Yeah.
please. And to me, that's big. Like, if you're gonna put some type of energy, put some good energy out there to
Thank
get it
you.
done.
Exactly.
That's it.
Yes.
And it's funny you say that because I did when I saw your segment. You have a podcast,
Right.
Same thing. You have a co-host,
Right.
and I've heard you guys talk, and I love the energy.
Right. Yeah.
You guys have put out a good energy. The name is phenomenal. Pan con Café.
Pan con Café.
For anybody who wants to catch an episode,
Right.
Where can they find you, by the way?
So Instagram and Facebook, Rudy Rodriguez. And then if you want to see the podcast, it's Pan con Café y Vienes y Raíces.
Y Bienes de Raíces. Okay.
You gotta roll those R's.
That's the right way to say real estate
Right.
for folks out there. 'Cause listen, I know like a lot of people don't say it that way
Right, yeah.
because that's,
Right,
nobody.
yeah.
Most people won't understand it really.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unless
Yeah.
you're
Yeah,
you're really from Hispanic.
then you understand it. Yeah, and shout out to Johanna Maya, she's the co-host.
Okay.
She's great. But and the reason we started doing the podcast is because we need more info in our own language out there, and somebody
Right.
who comes from that culture and can actually tell you, hey, listen, bienes y raíces, this is how it goes in United States. And
I
that's
love that.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I love
Me
that.
too.
I love that
Yeah.
because I can
That's
see
awesome.
your Spanish is very polished.
Right. I grew up in Honduras, and to me, like I take pride on that. Like you will see some type of like sometimes like the Spanish agents, they want to defer from our own community. I'm like, this is my people. Like I'm gonna take care of you.
Embrace
I'm gonna help you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know, it's so important to have good representation within the Hispanic community.
Right.
I'm not saying that your way of speaking or your ability to speak is really what makes you or defines you,
right.
But at the same time, as an agent, as a professional,
right.
yeah, you want to be able to explain things to
right.
your clients in Spanish,
right.
where it makes sense.
Exactly,
and that you're not just translating. You're really initiating the conversation,
yeah.
and they understand words like bienes de raíces.
Right.
It's just comforting, I think, and it's good. I think it's good business.
Right.
It's good promotion. It's good everything, collaboration that you can go ahead and work with people that way.
Exactly, yeah. And like I said, we actually got season 2 coming up, so we're just gonna bring in more people in from our community that can also share their story. Cause
beautiful.
Same thing that you guys are doing. Like you want to meet somebody, you sit them on a and have a podcast. They talk to you, and that's how you get to know people.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, listen, and I appreciate you spending time with us. I mean,
it's
definitely. Pleasure.
I know you're
so
busy
nice.
and you're professional. You're doing amazing in the industry. I can see that. Because I see his Instagram and I see the postings and everything else. Right. And I said, I got to get Rudy on.
Right.
I got to get Rudy Rodriguez on.
And here we are.
I have to have him on board because I feel like you're someone that is representing the Hispanic community the way it should be.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And that means a lot to me because if there's anything that I really want to leave a mark is that, like doing it with passion and making a difference.
Yes,
no, it shows.
Definitely, yeah. And that's why we did this, the homeroom lending, we want to teach.
Exactly.
Teach everybody what's out there, what to be careful of, and and having a realtor or somebody that will help them throughout the process is so important.
Yeah, I mean, eventually we'll be on the radio doing this.
Thank you for.
Kim has a lot of experience. She has a lot of information to give out. Like eventually, we would like to be live and people call in, and have her answer questions.
Right.
In fact, if there's anything, any questions, any random obscure question you may have, you can get an opportunity to ask Kim right now. If you have a client and something's going on, ask Kim.
Yeah.
It's she has the right knowledge and also we're well plugged in with the people in the bank that help us.
Yeah, if I don't have the answer, I get it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I don't let days go by. I get the the right answer, and it's just it's a good team. Good team that we have. Proud to be on this team.
Right.
Yes, I feel the same way. I think we've done really good. We have, Liz hasn't. She was the first guest in our podcast. But Liz is also a big contributor to that. Bilingual. I wanted to ask you, Rudy, what is something that you'd want to let people know about you, like Rudy, the man, Rodriguez?
Right.
What's something that the people should know about you?
Well, first off, like I said, thank you for having me. If there's something that people should know about me, and I think it's important to have, I guess, is just do things with passion and just put good energy out there. Just be kind, be loving to others. And that's what I try my business on. Like, I'm going to, treat you right. I'm going to definitely help you out with whatever you need. But at the same time, coming from a good place and doing it with the right mindset.
Oh, I love that.
That's amazing, because it's like, and that's another thing. Like this business provides a platform to do good things.
Exactly. Yes.
That's just wild about it. You could actually come into this business, do the right thing, help people, and make money.
Exactly. Yes.
And then help more people if you can.
This industry does have a bad rap.
Right,
but really does, and that's what we're trying to.
I'm trying to maneuver that because I don't. When I connect with people, I'm like, have you ever had an experience with another agent? And sometimes people come up to me and tell me, like, I have somebody who they found me on social media, and unfortunately, they were already under contract. And now they're calling me and asking me all these questions because they see that I provide the information out there.
How random.
And he's struggling, like he's under contract, and I'm like trying to guide him, but it's not my client. But at the same time, they see what I'm doing, so they reach out to me and they're asking all these questions. I'm like, listen, I can help you guys this far. Unfortunately, you're already under contract. I hope and I pray for the best for him, but again, working with the right people.
Yes.
That's all it is.
Yeah. It really
it's
is.
funny you say that because we have situations like that all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not too long ago, just last week, we had someone where they thought they were approved, essentially, and 10 days away from their closing, they don't even qualify. It's another bank, unfortunately, they didn't do the qualification right. They didn't know, and it wasn't until like the last minute, and they figured it out. I mean, it happens more often than you think. And this is out of state, by the way.
Right.
Oh my God.
Out of state, so out of New York, right? Because in New York, it's completely different. You have your attorneys, you have the on and thereabout date of closing where
they didn't even receive a commitment.
They didn't,
You know, and they're 10 days away from
situations like that.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Oh gosh, they didn't know anything. They didn't know if it was conventional loan, FHA loan, nothing. Their rate. Well, that's really what happened. Was their rate was specific. It was in the beginning. It was they had like a 3.5.
Right.
And later on, maybe a couple of weeks later, or right before they called us, it jumped up to like 4.25.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So they had promised a rate,
Right.
and then all of a sudden,
they
end there. Yeah, it was just difficult the way that they were getting set up. But you're right. You have to find someone that you can trust. And they explained it to me. It came from it was a referral, but not of someone they really knew. It was someone that they kind of knew from back in the day in high school or something like that.
Right.
Where I always tell people, listen, if you're gonna work with someone, try to get a referral or really just get to know that person well as a client.
Do your due diligence.
Do your research, because otherwise you could lose money, you could lose your health. There's a lot of things that can happen.
Yeah, that person they were really taken advantage of.
Yeah.
I mean, the interest rate, the
points,
everything.
Yeah. So, and that qualified.
And they're not qualified.
And you brought a good point up, like interest rates, right? Like as you're in the business and you see it happen and they're rising. So for whoever is a buyer out there who got pre-approved like a month ago or stuff like that, like probably 2 months ago, you should be talking to your lender and asking for new numbers because I'm pretty sure they have changed.
Yeah, folks, and they have. And you're 100% right. If your numbers were a little tight, where the DTI was a little tight, like debt to income ratios, that rate right now is killer. If you were right there, you're 100% right. You need to do an assessment. I mean, the rates did pull back a little bit recently, but just if you look at the chart, it almost looks like it's building a baseline.
Okay.
Right. So if it goes up, comes down, but then it goes up a little more, it goes down a little. So it's building up a higher baseline.
Okay.
If you look at the 10-year Treasury, so it's not like it's going back. it's just building up. So it's kind of it's one of those things where you have to move it on up slowly but surely, and it's designed.
But it's still low.
Yeah. No.
It's still a low.
Oh
goodness. Yeah. We're still in the lows of lows.
Oh my God.
It's still.
If there was any doubt of buying, if you were thinking about it, this is it. And you know what? You could probably still wait till it's up 5 and even 6%. But for goodness sake, if you were waiting to buy, this is it. Because the rates are still relatively low. Right. And the houses are they haven't taken off because then again, listen, the market it's tough out there.
Right.
You have a lot of demand, very little supply. Right. And you have like these bidding wars right now where there's people that are coming in with the 5%, 10%. A lot of times they're getting denied.
Yeah,
they're getting denied. I mean, there's all kinds of reasons why people get denied when they go. When they go. But people are getting desperate. And are paying over and are getting aggressive with the way they're trying to do it. But that's the only way.
Exactly, yeah.
And it's like,
but hopefully for the summertime, and probably I already have a couple sellers who've been on the fence, but come June, July, they're like, we're gonna sell. So I already see it like hopefully in the summertime having that
a big boost.
Getting a little bit
boost, and that's the other thing. Like if hopefully the interest rates stay at that level right now, and then this way the sellers are gonna be all right. We can still sell. And get the most amount of money.
Right. Because I'm sure they're concerned too. That.
Yeah.
Listen, there's always going to be buyers and there's always going to be people that want to sell their home.
Yeah.
You always have to refinance. Get divorced. Things
exactly.
happen.
Things happen, But now is the time.
Absolutely.
Do it now.
Right.
Why wait?
Exactly. Yeah.
Don't wait.
Right. And for example, for a seller, right? And like I always, when I sit on a listing appointment, I give them this option, right? Like you can always put on the house on the market now, and then you can just when you put it on the market, you just gotta let the people know, like, listen, I'm gonna need 3 months after closing,
Right.
and then I'm gonna deliver the house. And since the interest rates are so low for some buyers, it does make sense.
Great.
It does make sense. Let me lock in right now. Let me buy it right now. I don't mind if I gotta wait 3 months after closing to get the house, and
and then you just
this
you know,
way,
The lease back.
I was just gonna say we just did that.
yeah.
Just did it.
It's the top of mind.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. We closed on
So-
the
But
loan
you
a
know,
couple
that's
weeks ago,
good that
right?
you think like that, because
Right.
you know what?
I know.
Trying to
We
get that other,
did have a little bit of a challenge with that. Actually,
We
I think
did.
about it,
Right.
with, like where they were kind of like fighting us.
Right.
they were fighting us. You know, their
Right.
interest rate was, the lock
It was gonna expire.
expiring. We were pushing it, like,
Right.
let's just get this closed.
Right.
And they were having an issue.
Right,
Like,
but then
just,
that's what happens, right? Let's say you sit with the seller and you don't educate them, and then you don't put that out there when the offer comes in, and you don't
Yes.
explain that to the buyers. This is what's going to happen. Again, communication. If you don't communicate what's going to happen throughout the whole transaction, then
Things pop up, yeah.
Well, yeah, and then and then that's when you
And
you
it's
start
the
getting that.
knowledge.
Yeah,
You know, it
Right.
really is. Like, obviously, you're very knowledgeable, you know, and realtors are not, unfortunately. Not all of them,
right.
but there are some out there that are not.
It's easy to
and
get into
just, you know,
business. I think that's what it is. It's easy to
well,
get into
I think
business,
they
and a
have
lot of
gotten
people
the
don't.
license.
It's hard,
the
right.
test
The
has gotten much harder
right.
in the last, you know,
Right.
few years.
Right.
So that's good because, everybody was getting licensed
Right.
Yeah.
at one point.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, so I think that's why they made the test a
would
little
say
bit
more
harder
difficult.
because
Right.
now
Yeah.
you really have to put time and effort into it.
Yeah, you got to put in a bunch of hours.
Oh yes,
for
and the test was, hard.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's relatively easy to get into business because you just take a test,
Right.
You get licensed, and you're right. You don't have to.
Right.
There's no overhead. You don't need $1 million to
Right.
come into
Right,
the
right,
business.
yeah.
You don't need to know a million people.
Right.
You just have to. Yeah, pass the test,
That
which
is-
is hard, and put in the hours. But then once you're in, that's it. And I feel like a lot of people, they don't appreciate the opportunity in that
Right.
sense.
Yep.
They want to do things in
And does it
different ways, and whatever. Listen, I know people are doing amazing things different ways, like where
Right.
it's very positive and they're
Sure.
doing the right thing, but there's other people that are not. And it's good to see that you're someone that really just cares about the client.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say something in Spanish porque tenemos que hablar en español. ¿Verdad?
We
Porque-
do, yes.
I wanted to say, Kim, can you ask a question in Spanish? Can we?
Oh boy.
You can do it.
You can do it.
¿Cómo te llamas?
Me llamo Kim. It's so funny when I say that in the house, my kids, everybody's like, Kim, really?
Give it up.
Give it up. I don't sound very good doing it. I can understand, here and there a lot more
Yeah.
Right.
than speaking it. Oof.
Right. That's good though.
Sí,
Yeah.
pero quiero, o sea, si puedes decir algo referir, o sea, hablarle a la comunidad hispana,
Right.
o sea, un poquito de quién tú eres, lo mismo,
Right.
o sea, un poquito de lo que hemos hablado,
Right.
pero básicamente más
En español.
concentrado en
Yeah.
español, sí.
Sí.
Condensado, bien.
Condensado, sí.
Sí.
So, mi nombre es Rudy Rodríguez, soy un agente de bienes raíces. Estamos localizados aquí en la área de Long Island y estamos ayudando a nuestra comunidad hispana. Siempre tratamos de trabajar con gente que habla el idioma. Y cuando usted va a comprar o vender una propiedad, creo que es muy importante trabajar con alguien que realmente habla el idioma y que está en
Sí.
el negocio todo el tiempo. Es fundamental.
Fundamental hasta el abogado. ¿sabes?
el abogado.
No te busques un abogado que
Right.
hace otro tipo de práctica.
Right.
Debe de hacer bienes de raíces.
Yeah.
Que esté enfocado en esa área. Sí, eso es crítico. Si
Sí.
tienes,
Yo siempre le digo a mis clientes, ¿no? Like, tú no vas a un doctor que es dentista cuando te duele la rodilla.
exacto.
So you don't go to un abogado que hace, por ejemplo, otro tipo de cosas y no sabe hacer bienes y raíces.
Sí, o que no es un experto, o que no lo hace constantemente, como tú dices, que no está
En el negocio día a día.
Exacto, sí, es muy importante porque eso, en general, ¿sabes? Y mencionamos el abogado porque está como que un poco retirado de todo lo que pasa, porque
Sí,
es una fracción bien pequeña del proceso, pero sí, desde la persona que te hace el préstamo,
Sí.
el agente de real estate, todos tienen que, ¿sabes? Debes de trabajar con una persona que habla español.
Right,
O sea,
sí.
si es que, aunque tú hables inglés, siento como que debes de trabajar con alguien que habla español porque hay ciertas cosas que se pierden en la traducción
Sí.
que no, o sea, que uno no sabe.
No.
Especialmente cosas financieras.
Exacto, sí. Y la otra cosa también es que, digamos, tal vez tú puedes comprender, pero ¿qué tal si tú no puedes expresarte? Exacto. Y cuando tú te estás expresando, esa persona no puede decirlo de vuelta. Kim, right, Kim? Yes.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
And it's funny because estás diciendo
Gracias.
eso y es exactamente lo que ella como que lo que está pasando aquí, right?
Yeah.
It's like you're saying that basically, like, you may understand it, and English, and right, but if you're Spanish, your main language is Spanish, you may not be able to convey what you want to be able to tell a person either.
Right.
Whether you're taking in the information right, keep in mind, there's a lot of financial information that it's a whole different thing. Now you're estamos mezclando números y el lenguaje.
Right.
Eso es una cosa, el lenguaje es una. Pero los números y el lenguaje cambia todo. Y también debes desarrollar una amistad o algún tipo de confianza más, ¿cómo se dice? Más desarrollada de lo normal que tengas con otro.
Porque no es una transacción de que tú vas a hacer una compra hoy y se termina mañana.
Exacto.
Tú vas a estar trabajando con tu lender quizás por 3, 4 meses. Vas a trabajar con tu agente de bienes raíces por 3, 4 meses. Si en todo ese tiempo tú no te puedes comunicar con ellos, realmente va a ser la transacción muy difícil para ti y tal vez te va a estresar mucho más de lo que debería ser.
Definitivamente. Rudy, muchas gracias por pasar por acá y estar aquí en el Homeroom Lending Podcast. Veo que tienes un futuro bien increíble adelante de ti.
Muchas gracias.
Y te deseo mucha suerte. Quería decirlo en español porque tú no. Y si puedes poner tu Instagram una vez más para que la gente sepa.
En Instagram me pueden encontrar como Rudy Rodríguez. Es un business page, ahí aparece. Y también en Facebook, Rudy Rodríguez. Si quieres ver el podcast que hago en español, Pan con Café Bienes Raíces. Y si te quieres comunicar conmigo, mi número es 631-672-5471. Y muchas gracias por la invitación. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Y gracias, Rudy. Ahora di tu número en inglés.
My phone number is 631-672-5471. Any questions, anything that you need, just reach out. Happy to help.
Thank you, Rudy.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. It was a pleasure. Yeah,
it really was.
This wraps up another episode of the Homeroom Lending Podcast. Rudy, thank you for being here. I'd like to thank my co-host, Kim.
Thank you.
Fontanez. La puertorriqueña, que no es puertorriqueña, pero es puertorriqueña. That's it.
All right. Thank you for having me, and it's been a pleasure.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yep.